Welcome to Board Ghost, a story broadcast with games as the engine.
If living is a highway, then heaven is a bus stop. Been waiting for a minute there, but has it been forever?
We believe you're out there, hungry for stories for shared experiences. We can't see you, can't hear you, yet we will play for you. This site's offering is a continuation of our game of Kingdom from Ben Robbins and Lame Mage Productions. You can find Kingdom at lamemage.com, and you can find his other games like Microscope and Follow, which we've played Follow a couple times, over on lamemage.com. If you want to learn how the game is played or the story is told, playing the game of Kingdom, go to our rules primer for Kingdom. So our humble players, myself, John Holt, with me.
Ken Breese.
And Tim Rodriguez.
All right, so real brief on our world. We are playing in New Auckland, a sprawling magic technopolis metropolis, the size of a small country anchored somewhere in the Pacific. The problems, the crises that trouble this world, the desalinization of the ocean that we do to get our drinking water is actually killing the ocean. Also, there's a sect of elemental magic eco-terrorists that are active in the city, and the peak in tech enhancements have created an uncertain definition of humanity. Cool. So previously, we had just wrapped up a question. Will the kingdom give a permit to the rival police corps, Safer? The answer was yes. And that Safer, in being chosen, was infiltrated by elementalists. And the choice to do that, it was also sort of like a conglomeration with the other monopolist on Police Corps, which is Hava. Have a nice day.
Indeed. So there are these two different police corporations that have now been combined into one. But there's a lot of other crazy stuff going on, too, specifically with John's character.
Yeah, so my character, I'm playing Thrush Ballpeen. He is the touchstone in this world. He is a teched out prize fighter that hauls salt in the day and performs for the gambling and God box viewing audience at night. And he keeps himself juiced with a regular flow of high-octane, illicit, magically enhanced coffee from Ken's character.
That's right. Do we want to talk about what happened to Thrush last time now, or do you want to talk about that later?
I mean, Thrush, one, he effectively lost his supply, probably, because now she is no longer on hand, Willow. He is close to paying off his debts to Vice President of Hava, to whom he is indentured and owes a great debt. And he is a prize fighter for that group. And now he is, because of the conglomeration, paired with the Safer fighters.
But he sort of lost interest, or he was sort of insulted or turned off by that?
He's not, the touchstone, the sort of world is built on this religion of like Randian self-empowerment and like the power of the individual to forge their way.
Indeed.
And that means like competition. That means like, in the purest sense of like libertarian ideals.
Got it.
And Thrush isn't excited when sort of these capitulations of like conglomeration.
Yeah,
and
when the thumb's put on the scale.
Right. When instead of, again, being one thing being burned to the ground because the other thing has succeeded in the face of it, he's fine. Like if he was put under the heel and he went down with Hava, if
That'd
he got
be acceptable.
To see Safer rise up from the ashes, it would be elated. He would be so happy to see that happen.
But that's not happening.
But it's not happening.
Bad news. I, Ken Breese, am playing Willow Floors. Willow is a magically gifted barista, and she is a student at a wizard's college. She owes a big debt, though, to the eco-terrorist elementalists because they've been bankrolling her school. And to make money to pay back her debt, she's been selling illicit coffee drug to Thrush Ballpeen. But unfortunately, last time she got in trouble with the coffee company that she works for called Ursa Major Coffee. It's a chain that's all throughout the entire city-state nation. She's been working there for a while. It's a cover, basically, but also making some good money since she was selling illegal drugs through it as well. But she sort of got found out. Not everything was found out, but enough was being found out that she was very much in danger. Also, the cell that she was a part of, these eco-terrorist cells, one of them was captured and interrogated and may have given up her name to the authorities. So she was sort of in a weird place anyways. And then her estranged father, who's Tim's character, showed up, and she doesn't want anything to do with him. So she used her magical necklace to teleport away and find herself now in the clutches of the Safer Company, which the elementalists have infiltrated.
Mm-hmm. She burst from the head of a
the head of an elementalist or somebody.
I'm playing Vice President, who, as we just heard, was the also estranged father of Willow Floors. The Vice President is the VP at Attila, one of the primary megacorps that runs New Auckland, specifically in charge of security concerns, Hava, and now having a minority stake in a Safer, have a lot of control over what is happening on this island. One of the things that we found out, while Thrush Ballpeen has so far been a very decent cash cow as an indentured debtor, has been very, very profitable personally for the vice president. Thrush's skill and might in the arenas has helped him start paying off his debt a lot faster than expected, and this poses a problem. But luckily, it's my turn to go first.
It sure is.
You now need to set a new crossroads. So what is the question for our kingdom? Will the kingdom ...
Will the kingdom run out of salt?
Like we've turned the ocean to fresh water?
Well, I mean, at least within the reasonable range of what we can collect and sustainably export at the rates that we have been going. I think the first scene is the vice president makes a wall call to Thrush.
Nice.
Thrush, I want to apologize for losing my temper the other day.
Hey, it's your prerogative, man.
It's unbecoming of me to treat someone of your status in that way. You've done very, very well for yourself, given your circumstances, and that is to be commended.
Hey, you're a titan.
And
You are a titan in our world. And you know what? I have to accept that I am beneath you, and occasionally I'll have to deal with that, what that means when someone comes at me who is certainly has made more financially and more in this world than I have. There are the haves and have-nots, and honestly, you are a have more than I am, and that means that you're better than me.
This is a conversation between two men.
Right, but what I'm saying is
given like you're very much on the road to becoming your own.
Sure, I'll give you that.
And so I want to, as an apology for what I feel is a tone unbecoming of me, offer my regret in some real way.
Regret
for my behavior.
Again, I really think it was your prerogative to berate me in any way you chose fit. I mean...
Well, then consider it my prerogative to also grant you a gift of a few more enhancements. These will not be adding to your debt. These are my gift to you.
Well, far be it for me to look your weakness in the mouth. If you wanna give of yourself without asking in return, are you asking in return?
If Thrush is paying attention, whether or not he is, I don't know. There's a sort of quiet smirk that crosses the president's face.
Oh, there's a price attached. I like this. Where's this going?
I'm having a few more options delivered to you, and I am asking nothing from you.
Like I said, I mean, if you're going to be... All right, we'll see how weak you're playing this hand.
So you give me a call when you've gotten yourself all set up.
All right, we'll see how this goes.
I want to telegraph something to my other players here. The president goes to the wall reference guide that he's been looking up and just checks against the standing definition of a sentient being able to own property and whether or not they qualify as property, and smiles satisfiedly to himself.
Thrush hangs up the call, gets like a beacon. He's like in his room, and his bed kind of like folds away into the wall. Like it's a single room, and the kitchen comes out of the wall.
Yeah.
And he starts prepping himself some eggs and stuff. And that's when Drone brings a package of enhancements into his window. Like it kind of phases through the window, and he looks out over the sprawl, these other buildings, and the sort of filth of this world, and takes this box of enhancements and shakes his head and says, he's not going to be on top long with all this giving shit away for free. You take your advantages where you can get them, and starts pulling out stuff.
With my reaction, I am in deep consultation with my fellow elementalists as we are trying to figure out a way to throw the city into complete chaos. And the idea that's being floated now is to somehow destroy the salt reserves of New Auckland. So I'm going to say, should the salt reserves run out, a yes, that drip coffee will become legal. The high octane
stuff. So Thrush, he goes over the enhancements, and he's kind of like, these are fine. And he decides, you know what, I'm going to go down to the mine and cash some of these in.
Yeah.
And he does. He cashes them all in and gets like a pretty hefty bag of salt from it. And
it's a heavy bag of salt, man.
Yeah. He goes to Biggins, the enhancement store.
Well known.
Yep.
Yeah.
Biggins. He walks in, and like a
Biggins your enhancements.
A Biggins representative floats over and is like, how can I help you? And Thrush,
I've scanned your body, and I know that you only have 25% left. Allow me to make some recommendations.
Well, and he looks at this menu, the screen that like gets projected in front of him, and he goes, I like the look of that Tahinker.
You're almost on your way to a full set.
Let's do this thing. Toss some of that Tahinker in my head. He's led into a room, and they crack open his head and replace half of his brain with this thing that's branded T, tiny little H, Inker, Tinker, but Thinker, if you were to read it, Tahinker. And it cost all the salt that he just got from the miner plus a little bit. The readout now says 15%.
No.
He goes, still got some meat in me. But when he talks, like the voice that comes out is, like he's about to say, I got some meat in me, but the voice that comes out is, have a nice day. See you tonight at my big fight. He just kind of starts whistling again and strolls out of the store.
Auto-tune whistle.
He's just super excited. He's in a great place. This is things are moving
exactly
along.
Where he wants to be.
Yeah. He's actually walking by a spot, and he stops for a little bit, and he watches someone like trying to do a salt withdrawal. Like he's having trouble processing what he's seeing. You know, he thinks it's just like jiving what the new enhancement says. This person's trying to withdraw salt, and they're like hitting the machine, and he tries to say like, what's going on? You didn't get the money you wanted? But out comes, catch my big fight tonight. But he thinks he said, he asked the question, and he doesn't understand why the person didn't answer. So he just shrugs and keeps going as this person keeps hitting the machine, trying to get their
salt.
Get the salt. Like, come on, give me the rest of my salt. What the fuck? My scene's pretty short on this one, I guess.
That's fine. That's great.
So he's pretty like, as a people, you know, he's a little disturbed that like he couldn't understand what was going on with with this thing. He's got new shiny stuff to play with. He's got this Tinker. He's going to see how it helps him in the fight. Already he's recognizing, reacting to things much faster and like processing information a lot faster than he used to. He's just like, you know what? This is new and cool. And it's whatever. This guy's having problems with the salt output. Forget about it. Off he goes. Pretty excited. Happy guy.
Awesome. For Willow, I think that we see her trying to call up all data that she can on Thrush Ballpeen, his like schedule, where he's going to be, where he works, like just trying to find as much information on him as possible. There's a sense that she has some sort of plan.
The reaction that the vice president has, kind of that of a little bit of panic. Like the enhancements were delivered, but they haven't been installed yet. This is a pretty substantial bet he's making. Got one of his smoke sticks and is just like, this is going to be okay. Thrush will do what you tell him. This is going to be okay.
Also, I think Thrush, on top of ticking the thing, he also says things are moving. Like he was able to pull one over on a Titan
Got
of
it.
industry. There's upward mobility. He's making himself a man he wants to be. He just changed himself internally. So
Yeah, the
generally,
crisis
everything
is-
maintains.
crisis is being averted to some degree. My scene is going to be this. I have surreptitiously approached Thrush and said that I can secure him the drip that he has been lacking. That I have a stash and I bring him some. And I said, there's more where this came from. And I'll give it all to you. But you need to help me get into the atrium at Attila because we're kidnapping Vice President.
Hey, little superstar. Nothing better than a day at the fights. Why don't you come with me and we'll see how this runs? Put your money on Thrush and the Havocor.
I can't believe it. You're not even there anymore. I think that's a yes. Lead on. I'll follow you.
Yeah, so Thrush like starts moving through the crowd and you're having trouble keeping up.
Yeah.
He's very fast.
Oh,
like,
definitely.
Negotiating this crowd like rapidly.
And I
almost like
wanna use my
presupposing
magic.
movement,
Yeah.
like moving through traffic quickly. And
Yeah.
it's sort of dangerous.
Yeah, definitely. And I want to use my magic to try and match you and fly or get over this crowd somehow, but I'm really trying to keep a low profile. I'm like bouncing off of people as I'm sort of rushing after you, which I guess doesn't really help with my low profile to some degree. It's more like just another person pushing through the crowds. We are able to make it into the atrium at Attila. I'm like passing myself off as your towel carrier. You're able to get us in because
I'm
your
like-
connections and your recognizability.
This is the best place that you can be besides tonight's fight.
And everyone's really happy to see you, obviously. We disentangle ourselves and we are able to find our way to basically where the vice president is having some sort of meeting, I guess. It's probably just sort of wrapping up. And we sort of like step out from behind like these hedges. I'm like, hello, Dad.
Hey, let's do this thing. Check out my fight tonight.
Oh, I'll be watching.
No, you won't. Now, do you want to come with us quietly or is this going to get messy?
Do what you gotta do. Trust in Hava. Now part of the Have a Safe Day conglomeration.
Well, I suppose I shouldn't turn down a reasonable offer like that.
Okay, well, let's go. You watch them, all right?
What's done is forever. Give yourself over to protection from Hava and Safer. Have a safer day.
Don't worry, we're heading right there. And yeah, I'm basically like trying to get us back out of the atrium at Attila, even though there's all these people around and all this amazing shit happening. I mean, they're bringing out the talking monkeys at this point. It's like shit's going nuts.
It's a show day.
Yeah, it's the show day, exactly. We're talking zebras, them too.
It's the-
Cyber zebras.
The take your kids to work day.
Yes, take your
Yeah, they
kids
start
already.
they slice them up while
Yep.
they're still alive and serve them.
Yep,
to people.
exactly. Yummy.
Please don't eat me.
Once
I'm
we're
just
sort
a
of like-
giraffe.
Yeah. Once we're like
I'm
alone,
a delightful exotic meat.
I start berating you where I'm just like, your world's over. This ethos of consumption and destruction. Don't you understand? The salt is going to be gone soon. All your power will be nothing. And you know, I'm happy for you. I'm happy that you're going to finally be able to see the world for what it is. A beautiful but terribly destroyed place thanks to our people.
I know I wasn't always there for you, but you have to understand, the corporation helps us out. Having Thrush as my indenture helps us out. Us.
No, it's a weakness. I was getting ready to turn him against you from the start. That's right. Once you had gotten to the tip top, once you were going to make the most bucks, that's when it all would come crashing down.
That's when he grabs you
Yeah, that makes sense.
and lifts you off the ground and says, "Happiness is a warm gun purchased from Hava and Safor."
You understand, of course, Janie, that with the set of enhancements that Thrush has taken on, he no longer qualifies as a coherent, sentient person.
That's not true. He's in there. Let me go. Damn it. Let me
He
go,
still
Thrush.
has rights. He'll have an allowance, but
Might makes right from Havocor. Get the Might package for just $19.95. 6 salt a day.
Thrush's going to be working for me, for us?
No, he's working for Safier. They have his contract.
He can work for Safier. That will be fine.
Let Safier work for you. Keep your family safe. If you don't pay, they might pay.
30% of Safier's profits are pushed right into Hava, pushed into Attila Core. I have a percentage on top of that. We'll do fine.
Hey, hun, have you heard of Attila Core?
You don't understand what's happening. Safier is just a decoy.
Now, I understand
The
that...
board of Safier, they know what they're doing, and they'll destroy everything from within.
Well, that's an interesting perspective.
Come on, Thrush, grab him! Grab him! And I'm like casting like light spells in your face that are like obviously doing nothing. And I'm like, I have no real magic, really. I'm like casting my like, whatever, my sort of like cantrips, as it were.
Where would you like to be dropped off?
I think that's the end of the scene. Things are going real bad for Willow. The tables have been turned on her. She's now in captivity once again. However, prediction will be, will the kingdom run out of salt? If it doesn't run out of salt, then Safier takes over Hava.
Right.
Safer board takes over the Hava board.
What is the vice president's reaction?
This has gone exceedingly well. Sure, he's had to push on some previously unchallenged legal issues, but so far that seems to be working in his favor.
The status of his automaton.
Yeah, absolutely. Like once that hit 15%, he's legally required to provide a proper living allowance. But other than that, all profits are essentially funneled directly into my pocket.
Nice.
Thrush is excited to see this sort of like power brokering. This is really good stuff. He could give a shit who wins in this outcome. In fact, like the longer the Tehinker is in him, the like more separate he becomes from himself. And it's almost like he's permanently in that state of
like,
when he's in the fight where he's disassociated and he's just like watching and kind of just going to see where things land. And right now it looks like, things could go anywhere and he's kind of excited by that.
At one of the fighting pits underneath the gods here, we're watching an underdog match play out that is going to have some raucous implications for payouts. We've actually set up a new match between Thrush and kind of a King of the Mountain.
There's going to be like a dozen contestants in the ring at the same
time. There's going
to
be like a dozen contestants, like Royal Rumble kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
New ones come in. Thrush is obviously one of the favorites, being kind of the avatar of like the powerful Hava and, for that matter, Attila Corporation.
Yeah, his stock's been going up.
We're going to show that off. But I think something's going to happen here. After Janie figured out how to get away, there's some trouble.
She had help, of course. Her elementalist comrades. So yeah, something tells me that it had a lot to do with ice. There's a lot of ice involved. We were in the elevator going down, and then like the elevator froze, and then the glass shattered, and she was sort of whisked away with you two sort of looking on, I guess.
But I think with Thrush looking on, like I don't think I know about this.
Okay, cool. Yeah, with Thrush looking on. All right.
Yeah. And
awesome.
Thrush just kind of smiles.
Yeah, of course.
And is like, let your thoughts take wing. Get over the Alps, hun. Attila.
Cool. So this Royal Rumble's going on. It gets at that point that all of the, like, so many vice presidents and bigwigs are there watching all of their property fight it out. That it's like, this is the exact time that these insurgents, these elementalists want to strike. And so,
I think that makes sense.
Yeah, it's like there's this sort of like crashing sound as like a tree grows through the floor and like moves the plasteel and metal out of the way. Like vines are growing everywhere.
I look over at the president of like the Agri Corporation. I'm like, what is this? What is this nonsense? Immediately kind of like
it's
berating
like
that
it's
guy.
like guerrillas basically show up with weapons and armor and magic weapons, and I get the sense the Royal Rumble becomes like a royal melee as like everyone joins
Yeah,
sort of in this. And so different cells of terrorists are trying to find these bigwigs to like kill them or capture them, while these bigwigs are like calling on their property, their robots to save them and protect them.
We've got private security for that.
yeah.
Robots are for fighting.
Yeah, exactly. So the robots just don't stop fighting?
No,
as all
robots.
this
Well,
is
they're
going on?
going to fight the like all of these newcomers to
Yes.
the ring. They're obviously challengers.
Exactly.
Well, I mean, I'm obviously in the skybox, looking on, like, expecting kind of a good showing for Attila, and this is not going the way that I was expecting. There's a lot of people kind of like shouting at each other, casting blames, like
Yeah. A lot of electricity spells flying around.
the Hava advertisements have burned out promptly,
Right.
and so like now people are like yelling at Safers like, "Oh, where are you? Like, your stuff is still working. Where's your security going on?"
Exactly. And I think that's when sort of it becomes very clear that Safer has been infiltrated by these elementalists as the Safer police turn against
Right.
those Hava police. And it's turning into more of a
Right.
pretty,
And catch them totally by surprise.
yeah. So yeah, it's just turning into a bloodbath basically, where both sides are just killing each other, probably with microwave weapons.
All kinds of fun stuff. Every possible toy.
every possible toy.
Anti-gravity toys
Yes.
and all kinds of fun.
These elementalists march this set of bigwigs down to the gambling
Oh, cool.
center.
Yeah.
This is what you've wrought. And they turn the ash to dust.
Oh, the salt! All the salt!
Well, I mean, it's the bet salt,
Yeah,
right?
the bet salt.
But this is going to be a problem. Your kingdom is.
What backs a society at this point?
This is a substantial blow to because here goes a lot of cash, which will be expected to be paid out. It's a substantial portion of what remains of the supply. I'm going to check a box towards run out of salt.
Yeah, Thrush in his reaction. I mean, this whole time he's just in his element.
He's
just
loving
like
life.
going out. In fact, he hasn't jacked drip yet. Like he's running purely on just like the lowest setting of think. It's not even fully juiced. He's just like sidestepping blows. Basically, if he takes a hit, it's because he thinks it'll make the audience excited. And happy.
Right.
Like at this point, he's a vaudevillian.
Yeah, he's a showman.
He's just he takes a pratfall here and there. He is keyed up and keen and yelling catchphrases, and the whole time just kind of in the back of his head, just like arms crossed, sitting back, smiling, enjoying all the madness that goes around. And he catches and is aware of the fact that these guys get carted down and away, and he's like, now that's a corporate takeover. That's what he says inside his head. But outside he says, you gotta buy in or buy out, as he smushes someone's head.
Willow Floors is happy because she feels like the elementalists have struck a blow against the hated society of the kingdom. If yes, the kingdom runs out of salt, then the currency will become maple leaves.
Thrush Ballpeen, it's after the fight, they're hosing off like all the ichor and just like weird stuff from him.
Yeah.
And
There's a lot of extra of it today.
and he's,
Well, who's spraying them down, I guess? Is it Hava people or is it
his
Safer?
like his trainers.
Okay,
and
yeah,
stuff,
it's
like
his
old
like
crew.
maintenance crew.
Yeah, like his old coach and
Yeah.
stuff that like
The
sprays
ones that
water.
can take his arms off and on in like under 3 seconds
Yeah,
or whatever
yeah,
flat.
right.
Like, yeah.
Yeah. So they're be getting him back into presentable for the outside world and
Pit crew.
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
like zzz.
exactly.
He starts like checking his oculars for in his bets that he put on himself.
Ah.
And it's all like he's just getting error message after error message.
Oh, shit.
And that's when, like, for the first time in a long time, like, he can't really remember when he actually felt anger, but like something is welling inside him.
A feeling.
Yeah.
A feeling is
There's
welling.
a feeling of not just like pure advancement, but like something has impeded his joy. He codes his fanny pack and reaches in and pulls out 3 like octane of drip
Uh-oh.
and just like starts like fast loading, like tick tick tick,
Oh man.
and he goes, "By now,
I got the music in me.
Buy low, sell high. And he reaches out and just like crushes the head of one of his coaches
Oh.
and just walks through the wall
Yep.
and and heads down towards the gambling pits
Yep.
where the elementalists and the besieged corporate raiders are all hanging out.
Yeah, hanging out.
And
It's sort of like you're on your knees with your hands behind your head sort of situation.
oh, tears running down
Tears
some of their
running
faces.
down their faces.
I don't know. I won't speak for your
Oh
character.
yeah, no, the agribusiness guys are
Yeah.
definitely crying.
Definitely.
And I step through and like Tahink allows, especially when jazzed, allows a level of reality shaping,
Yeah.
which is like a techno magic to some degree. So
yeah.
these like eco spells just flake off of me
Yep.
as they're casted, and I just like
You just are squishing
Just
heads.
like-
Start squishing the
Squishing
But
elementalists.
heads.
are you making any distinction between elementalists
Oh,
and,
no. Like,
and corporate raiders?
gamblers,
Yeah.
Hava, like
Everybody.
grab a
You're
Hava
just killing
circle
everybody.
and
Yeah, you just start
crushes
killing
in.
everybody.
I just kind of like stomp my way up.
All right, I'll definitely like stand up and say, Ballpeen, these elementalists, crush them.
And they're all, free yourself, brother! Free your mind!
That's when, because of the feeling, this disassociated self starts to like push
Reintegrate.
in, and it's fighting against the Tahink, but it's so pervasive and it's so juiced, and he falls to his knees like clutching his head, and the room starts to vibrate.
All right.
You are legally my property, and I insist that you do what I say.
Yeah, so the room continues to vibrate like even more violently on like a molecular level.
And the crisis. The crisis falls. Nice.
So resolving
on
a
a
crisis.
molecular level? Is that what I just heard?
I guess right now is this the end of the game?
Yeah.
I think so.
This is
yeah.
all right. So this
I
will be
think so,
the
yeah,
ending. Okay. So the crisis itself. What is the crisis?
I think we're definitely hitting kind of this last threat. That was
That
one of the
like
things that I was definitely
the
pushing towards.
decimation of humanity / yeah.
I'm liking that as well, where Ballpeen is almost like a call to arms for other people like him. Like there's so many of these people now in the kingdom, in the society.
And this has not been a thing that's kind of been challenged before,
Yeah,
or
exactly.
pushed into that
Yeah.
Right.
level.
So, like,
and I'm just like,
Yeah. So anyone who's, has 15,
hubris, I push too hard.
anyone who has 15% or less left, like basically realizes that they can go berserk as well. And I think it's just a bunch of berserk robots.
They are now technically property,
Right.
And, yeah,
Exactly. And they're sort of throwing that off, I guess, to some degree.
Okay,
Attempting
or
to.
not,
Or not.
right?
Yeah.
right?
So each player's
Yeah. And they're,
So
they're
we're
just
gonna
doing
go.
what they're supposed to do.
Yeah.
We're gonna go around and not take action yet, but we're just gonna say what we see happening around them.
Cool.
The Thrush starts to see like this disassociation actually like with pairing with the thing, gets like almost like jolted into a hive mind. So he begins to see different aspects of the city and feel all these other entities that are basically the enhancements that are left in them
Yep.
are bits of flesh. They are pure construct. And they have chosen to be who they are, and they've chosen to be built as such. And they are the true masters of destiny.
Yeah, they're the true beautiful life.
And
I love it.
That's what he sees.
Yeah, it's the exact opposite for Willow Floors, who is seeing these just creatures that are no longer human, tearing things apart, going berserk. The most scary part is that her magic doesn't work on them.
You? I'm still in that room.
I'm still in that room as well. I think that's
Sure.
where I would sort of be with the rest of the elementalists. But the magic doesn't work on these creatures. So I think that she's trying to escape. Like that's her big deal right now, is that she's seeing. And the thing of it is that the cameras are still rolling. It's like the Royal Rumble has now turned into this like just bloodbath, and it's like it's being piped out all over New Auckland. She's seeing this carnage and trying to escape, and the inability of her magic to work on these creatures.
The vice president, on instinct, pulls out his data pad as a message comes in, and it's the predictive analytics saying that this is the event of the year. And we have started seeing just kind of like record sales
All right.
as this is
That's
happening.
awesome. So it's like, oh, sweet, my stock's going up.
So now we say what we do. as sort of individuals and as one, like Thrush stands
Mm.
and like using vibration and like the force of his own will just explodes a couple and says, bow.
Nice.
Bow to the new corporation.
Nice. Yeah. I am definitely trying to escape. It's almost like turning into like a refugee fleeing type deal now, where I'm trying to gather other like still, empathetic and fully human or mostly human people together with me so that we can like, I don't know, escape somehow, escape New Auckland.
Portal incarnate?
Yeah, through the portal incarnate, exactly.
Or incantation.
Incantation. The place we never
Port
hung out,
incantation.
really. Port incantation. The portal incant.
I mean, we talked about it.
We talked about it a lot.
I worked there.
I worked there once.
I was there I was there
I
a few
know, I'm
times.
joking.
Hey, come on now.
Come on. Don't knock portal incantation or port
Um,
incantation.
So I think the vice president is like, this is time to exit. Gets his security detail, to come in and cover a hasty retreat as fighting continues and
Yeah, I mean, New Auckland's
people are
being
exploded.
Yeah, New Auckland's being covered in it at this point.
Yeah, I'm going back to like my office where I can,
The bunker.
bask in
Yeah,
my, panic room if necessary, but largely like see what things I'm now in charge of because
All right.
this is
Cool.
superb
So you're
for
not-
me.
yeah,
This
you're not-
this is
Good.
totally fine. Like we'll spin this to our advantage.
We can vote. His is an automatic thumbs down. but
right.
We can both vote if we want the kingdom to survive or not.
Okay.
So on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3.
Yay! Kingdom survives.
So in
but
surviving,
how?
the kingdom survives. Kind of as a group, we just describe the outcome of the crisis based on what we've already seen. The new industrials is what they've come, this like
Nice.
new race. And they initially like kind of allow the corporate structure to like believe that they own them
Exactly.
kind of thing. But they are the main population left on this place. And, it's kind of fun to let them think that
They're being
they're
ordered
owned.
around, yeah. I think for Willow Floors, she was able to return to old Auckland with a small group as they escaped from New Auckland, and they have started a new kingdom in the old country. Kingdom based on nature and fairness.
But still
And
has a big
communal
sweaty
living.
sack.
Such a huge
Methane sack.
Such a huge methane sack. It's not even funny.
Oh goodness.
Well, you got to keep that little island afloat.
Mm-hmm. Old Auckland.
I think for the vice president, the predictive analytics risk models worked out very nicely.
Worked out great.
The new industrials, as they're calling themselves, were pretty much going to happen. That was known to be a likely outcome. The negotiations with them went well. They don't seem to be concerned with how much money we're actually making on them. For not just ourselves, but for the multi-global national super conglomerates. That's honestly how it is. Legally, they're still property, of course. But, don't ask, don't tell.
Oh, yeah.
And when the ecosystem finally does fall,
They're not going to be so affected.
No, not really.
With the amount of money we're making, we're just getting like our little small amounts of things shipped in.
Yeah.
As an overseers.
Wow. With that, our story ends. We will return again with a new tale to spin to dare to entertain. I was one of your players, John Holt. You can find me on Twitter at Lord Joho and on Instagram at board_ghost. You can find my book club podcast where we've wrapped up House of Leaves and should be starting Sandman soon at woundandstab.com. You can find my media recommendation review podcast at newtoyoushow.com. Ken, where can people find you?
Find me, guys and gals, and everybody in between at burlingsbeard.com, BERLINGS. I'm also on Twitter and Instagram with the same name. I also do concierge DMing in the New York City area, so if you're looking for someone to run your games, contact me.
And I'm Tim Rodriguez. You can find me on Twitter at Dice Food Lodging, and I'm generally around the internet, so look me up.
All right. Thanks again for being on, Tim. This was a blast.
Yeah,
super
nuts.
All right, so you can learn more about the players and engine in our story by visiting boardghost.com. You can help collaborate in making the show by visiting our Patreon at patreon.com/boardghost. Again, if you aren't in a position to make a financial contribution, please share the show. The more you put it out there, the more views we get, and the more these games become mainstream and less indie and weird. I don't know.
I like the Indian weird.
Exactly. Well, we'll keep finding those while you explore these.
I'm working on my new indie weird board.
Yeah.
All right. You can attempt to pierce the veil and contact us at Board Ghost World on Twitter. Shout out through the ether if you have desires we can fulfill. Please leave reviews and comments on iTunes, your preferred listening portal. Take a moment to subscribe so you don't miss out on the latest episodes. I'd like to thank Pat Couples for our theme song and interlude music. You can find more about Pat at patcouples.tumblr.com or on his band's website, hotelsandhighways.com. If you're not alone in the void, share our stories. The more they are consumed, the truer they become.
Dying, don't agree with me.